Hey everybody, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video. Have you ever had one of those days where you feel absolutely overwhelmed by what's going on around you? Could be your reselling business, something going on there, maybe lots of returns, death piles all around you, finding out that an item that you purchased got damaged or something like that. Or it could be something going on in your regular job that's, if you have another job besides reselling, or maybe something going on in your personal life, or a combination of the three, plus maybe some other factors going on. I had one of those days yesterday, and I want to kind of share with you kind of some tips and strategies that I use to get through those types of days. I kind of came up with 5 kind of strategies or just general principles that I like to use in those types of situations. Now, many of you may know, if you saw my interview at Wade's Ventures, I'll put the link to that down below if you haven't seen it, which gets more into my personal life than I normally share on this particular channel. But I do work full-time as a board-certified neuropsychologist in a hospital and evaluate adults and children with brain injuries and or brain disease, brain damage, that sort of thing. And so, my work days are, pretty busy. Normally it's an 8 to 5 day, but yesterday it got started later, 9 o'clock, because I had to take one of my children to summer camp, so that started me off about an hour behind, which was one part of the issue of yesterday, but that certainly wasn't the only thing. There were lots of other things that happened, but I want to kind of give you some suggestions and tips on what to do. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened yesterday, so keep in mind that you're also getting some free psychological advice because, like I said, I am a neuropsychologist, so I don't know of any other reseller channel you can go to where you can actually get the advice of a psychologist. So you get kind of 2 things at once at this channel. So yesterday, yeah, like I said, started off late, and obviously there's limits on what I could get into in terms of the type of job that I have, but suffice to say, yesterday was a very busy day, just lots of complications that occurred with regards to patient care, and that wound up being one factor that kept me at the hospital until 8 o'clock. In addition to that, there were lots of computer problems that were going on that were completely beyond my control in terms of some software I was trying to get on my computer that I needed for patient care purposes. And there were all sorts of problems with trying to get that installed while I was trying to work on other issues. At the same time, I'm looking at my phone. I've got a return request that I've got to deal with. I've got, multiple things, just coming at me in terms of email from all directions. And just all sorts of stuff just basically piling up. At that point yesterday, by the way, all this stuff is happening. It's like 5 o'clock. I hadn't even made a sale yet, which is very unusual because I cannot remember the last time I have not made a sale during the day. So it's just lots of things kind of happening. Now, sometimes it does happen that maybe I don't make a sale during the actual daytime hours, like up until 5 o'clock, but usually after 5 things start rolling in. But I told you I was at work till 8 o'clock and still had not had a sale, so I thought that was kind of weird. So all these things are sort of going on at the same time. And I had stuff that I had to do to kind of prepare myself for today going in. So right now, the time I'm doing this video is around 7 o'clock, 6:30, and I've got to be at work at 9. So let's talk about kind of the ways I manage this type of thing. So first of all, once you start feeling overwhelmed, this would be number 1, and it's the most important thing. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it physically. You're going to feel it just mentally, that things are just piling up. And the number 1 thing that you have to do in this situation is you have to stay calm. You purposely have to make an effort to just stay calm and stay relaxed. In psychology, when you don't do that, the opposite type of reaction is called having a highly neurotic reaction, one in which you're very prone to experiencing negative emotional states like depression, sadness, irritability, anxiety, panic. When you are getting stressed, you fall to pieces really easily. So you've got to try to be mentally stronger than that and just tell yourself, okay, I know things are piling up right now, the only way I'm really going to get through this effectively is to stay calm. So ironically for me, the more stuff that's actually piling up, the more purposefully calm I actually become in trying to deal with it. And I just start taking myself through lots of scenarios. One of the things that I like to remind myself that helps me deal with it is, even though these things that are piling up for me are stressful and are annoying, I try to put some proper perspective into it, in that, you know, there's so many other people going through so many other worse things that I'm going through right now. You know, serious medical issues, you know, cancer diagnosis, cancer treatment, surgeries, you know, loved ones in their family who are really sick children, spouses who are ill, things like that. And, you know, even if you have something like that going on in your life, then there's also typically a way to think about it that it could even be worse than that. You know, if you are someone who's watching this who's dealing with a cancer diagnosis, it was stage 1, for example, you know, there's someone else out there who's, you know, stage 4, who's terminal. So, you know, there's all sorts of ways to think about things to, you know, to try to, what we call cognitively reframe it. Just try to think about it in a different way. Try to put things in perspective, so that helps you kind of understand, okay, yeah, things are bad, things are rough right now, but it could be way worse. And that's something that I think about a lot, that helps me, you know, helps me deal with these types of situations. So that's another strategy. The other thing is that if you think about what's going on, what's causing you to feel overwhelmed, is that there's lots of things that are happening that are outside of your control. You know, if you think about it, starting off the work day an hour late, well, that was because of a summer camp that you know, my son had to go to. He needed transportation there. I had to get him there. My wife couldn't get him there. You know, if you're having complications related to your, you know, some other job, or someone issues a return request that you know, didn't really have anything to do with what you did with the item. You know, these are things that could happen that are just beyond your control. Or if you have a computer malfunction, or you get stuck somewhere because of, you know, you're trying to you know, travel somewhere, you get a flat tire like I did the other day. Or maybe your flight gets delayed, you're going somewhere. These are all things that happen beyond your control. So what's really important to do is to try to do things to regain control in some way. So part of that involves another step, which is prioritizing. You've got to sit there and figure out, okay, all these things are going on right now. What is the most important thing that I have to do? So for me yesterday, it was, you know, just clearing up some matters regarding a case that I was working on, and writing a report and making sure that that report got finished. So that was one of the things that kept me there till 8 o'clock. I wound up getting that report done, finished, and then I was able to prioritize and move on to other things. Such as one of the things I tried to take some control over is actually one of my sales. I actually wound up making my best sale yesterday on eBay for the year. It was a $550 sale for 10 pieces of paper. Those 10 pieces of paper are special pieces of paper. They're promo sheets from a 1982 toy series called the Godaiken Robots. And so I'll explain this more in my next video. I've shown it before in a previous video when I talked about some problems that I previously had trying to sell that item, when I tried to piece it out. But this, I sold the whole set together. Someone had been expressing interest in it for a while, who was a completely legitimate buyer. So I just contacted him yesterday. I said, hey, you know, would you be interested in doing this for, you know, we were talking about prices, and I figured yesterday was a good time. It was the sale was going to end today or tomorrow. So I said, you know, if you're willing to put the money on the table, put the best offer in for $550, I will sell it to you. And sure enough, he put the money on the table, made my best sale of the year. So it's a way I regained control by doing something on my end, reaching out to him, getting him to put the money on the table. He paid for it. It's all set. It's ready to go out. So when I came home, you know, that was one of my first priorities, was to make sure that was packed up properly, you know, protected well, shipped out. Then I had to figure out, you know, what are some other things I had to do. I had to address other things related to another business that I run, which is my medical website, which is medfriendly.com. I run a website there, plus a blog. And so there's guest blog posts that people submit and they pay me to put on the website, and so that was also a priority that I had to make sure that I addressed that. And then the next thing was to make sure that I got some listings done. Now, I love doing this YouTube channel, but right now the YouTube channel is not something that really brings me in any kind of money, and so I can't put the YouTube channel as a higher priority than getting listings done. So I made sure after I got a little bit of sleep that I put up 3 listings this morning, and then I went right over to do this YouTube video. So a combination of regaining control in some way, like the ways that I did, prioritizing. Another way of regaining control is to do something to treat yourself. So do something that you really enjoy. There's all different ways people can treat yourself. One way I do it is with food. I mean, I love treating myself to a special type of food. Could be like, maybe there's a special meal or pizza or fast food item you like to pick up, or something from the grocery store that you really like. Take the time, for example, if that's what it is you like, to make that day that you treat yourself. I'm not telling you to indulge in this stuff every day and be unhealthy, but that would be a great day, a day where things are not going well for you, to say, you know what, I'm gonna regain control and I'm gonna do something for myself that I really like. Or maybe it's sitting down for half an hour and watching one of your favorite TV shows that you haven't watched for a while. Or if it could be just taking a walk around the neighborhood, you haven't done that for a while. Whatever it is that you feel like you really enjoy, that'll be a treat for you, go ahead and go do that thing, especially on that kind of day. You need to give yourself a pick-me-up at that moment. And lastly, the other thing you have to remind yourself is, as stressful as that particular day is, you have to always remember tomorrow is a new day, and the chances that that next day is going to be as stressful as the one that you're currently experiencing is low. And that next day will be a day likely where you could start catching up and making up some of the stuff that you had to leave behind. And that's part of prioritizing. You have to realize when you're getting that overwhelmed, you have to say to yourself, okay, listen, everything can't happen the way that it normally does. There's gonna have to be some things that I put to the side for tomorrow, and those are gonna have to be the things that I assign the lowest in my priority list. So everything I'm telling you here are things you could apply to your reselling business, as I explained to you I did today. You could apply it to your personal life, and you could apply it to your regular job. So just try to keep those tips in mind. If those things wind up helping you in some way, please come back, let me know that as part of this video. If there's other tips and strategies and kind of things you'd like to know about, given the type of profession that I'm in, and you feel like I may be able to share with you, please let me know that, and definitely consider doing a video about it. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel. The subscription button comes up in the form of a treasure chest at the end of the video. So make sure you hit that, or subscribe anywhere on the channel. Come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. I'm pointing down below because that's where the link is if you want to join it. You've got to click that link, click join. That will let me see your join request, and then I will let you in as long as everything looks okay with your profile. So with that, I will see everyone at the next video, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care.